CPI inflation data was released not too long ago, and I believe it sets the stage for a massive Bitcoin rally for the remainder of this year. Bitcoin, according to many, is 1 year away from a major technical event. What is that? I think most of you guys know. CNBC people probably don't know, but you guys know. We're 1 year away from the halving event. People turning to Bitcoin because distrust in banks and sick of hearing about inflation. We also have this. You have a halving event, and then after the halving event, what happens? You have all-time high. It has always been like this. The very first one, right? And then you have the second one. Then you have the third one. And Bitcoin always does its thing. Now, when you zoom out like this, doesn't seem like there's much volatility, but there is. There's a lot of volatility. But Bitcoin has always played out this way. And it's going to be no different this time around. If anything, what may be different this time around is Bitcoin recovering much faster this time than before. We may not even have to wait for the halving before a new all-time high. In fact, just yesterday I covered several reasons why we may even see all-time high by the end of this year. That would be absolutely bonkers. And yes, if that happens, we would have broken previous trends with the halving event, but who cares? If you notice, every single cycle, the dollar amount in Bitcoin gets much, much higher. And even the lower points gets much, much higher. This is why we're in Bitcoin, because more and more people are getting involved, learning and adopting and buying and holding. But the supply of Bitcoin does not increase linearly like demand. This is the difference between Bitcoin and the US dollar and every other currency out there, right? The inflation rate of Bitcoin is being cut, not increased. The supply has a finite supply, not infinite supply like the USD. Yes, this is why this happens, okay? And recently, there's been a lot of measurements of Bitcoin just being removed from circulation. And also, on top of that, new addresses, which means people are coming in and buying Bitcoin and removing them from the exchanges. This one goes back to the beginning of the year to December, and you could see how the number of addresses kind of fluctuate up and down, right? But every time the address forms a new high, and that's when Bitcoin price goes up. And it keeps on doing this, and we keep having this up and down moment, which basically shows more people coming into the space, and then they remove Bitcoin from the exchanges. Actually, I just looked at this. I pulled this up on CryptoQuant, looking at all the spot exchanges and the net flow of Bitcoin. On the 10th to 11th, 9,243 Bitcoins removed. And then yesterday, another 561 Bitcoins removed. You add it together, that's like $200 million. $200 million of the Bitcoin gone from the spot exchanges, right? This is what's happening right now. This is why Bitcoin is moving up. Massive rally ahead for the remainder of this year? I would say so. And also, we got a lot of adoption and a lot of bullishness out of Hong Kong. Hong Kong's largest virtual bank, which has actually no stores, they are getting ready to become a fiat on-ramp, off-ramp for crypto exchanges. Hong Kong is going big with Web3, with crypto overall, with exchanges, which means China is kind of like saying, okay, we're ready for this. Let's let Hong Kong become the world's hub for Web3 and crypto, and then we'll probably embrace it overall in mainland. That's what's happening. And this is happening right now while the US has so much uncertainty because of Gary Gensler, right? Gary Gensler is driving, I can't tell you how many projects recently I've been talking to have either said that they are thinking about leaving, or they are leaving, or they're just so fearful about Gary because they don't know what to expect. Gary's driving everyone away. But now what China is doing is like, hey, why don't you guys come to Hong Kong, right? But overall, this will be massive. Can't tell you how many trillions in China are waiting to jump into crypto if they can, and that may be coming very, very shortly. So think about that. And as of right now, you guys know Bitcoin is at 30,000. A little volatile last night, no reason, but 30,000 holding strong, right? Next resistance to look forward to is about 36,000. Although in between, I would say there's another one around about 31.7, but the next major resistance probably around 36,000. Who knows when that's going to come? Maybe the end of this week, maybe next week, maybe next month, right? But the trend is clear. We are moving up and better days are coming. I would say shortly. I would argue shortly. It's not that long. It's already mid-April. We're almost May, if you think about it. But overall, there's just so many charts, so many signals, so many things that's showing Bitcoin is repeating what it has done before when it has broken up from its bottom point and now about to rally hard, okay? Not soft rally, hard rally. Both times. This has happened before. Look at 2016. What happened? $160 to $20,000, right? You look at 2018, 2019, 3,000 up to 69,000. So these events don't happen very often, but when they do, you don't want to be left sitting on the sidelines because then you just miss out on the craziest gains that can't be replicated anywhere else. Here's another one that's showing stochastic on the monthly scale turning upwards again. We have seen this only 3 times in the past, and after those 3 times, Bitcoin went up thousands of percent. Again, you don't want to be left out sitting on the sidelines missing out on all these gains. So even Warren Buffett, even though he is the anti-Bitcoin, anti-Bitcoiner, however you want to define him, he's like, we're not through bank failures. He's been consulting a lot of banks. So even though the Fed and FDIC and the Treasury and everyone else that's involved, they're bailing out the banks left and right behind the scenes. We don't even know the full picture. Okay, all we do know is the balance sheet of the Fed went up by $500 billion. Banks are borrowing left and right. And even Warren Buffett says bank failures were not over. There will be more, right? So again, another reason why Powell there's 0% chance he's going to raise any more rates. And if he does, well, then I'm wrong. But he will make this situation much, much worse. But regardless, if more banks fail, that only helps Bitcoin. If inflation suddenly comes back up, it only helps Bitcoin.